Heavy snow and freezing rain is causing widespread disruption across the UK, with amber warnings in place in parts of northern England, the Midlands and Wales. Forecasters say up to 40 centimetres of snow could fall in some places, and temperatures overnight fell as low as -11 Celsius. The runway at Leeds Bradford Airport is closed due to snow and ice. After being closed earlier, the runways at Liverpool and Manchester airports have now reopened, but there are warnings of more delays and disruption to come. Let's go live now to West Yorkshire. We can speak to our correspondent Nikki Schiller, who's there for us. And how is it there, Nikki?
Yes, Lucy, you mentioned Leeds Bradford Airport. We're about 5 miles from Leeds Bradford Airport, and you can see why that runway is closed. The snow is still coming down here in Leeds. This is in the amber warning area for snow, and this covers a large part of northern England, including North Yorkshire, West Yorkshire. It goes up to Northumberland and across to Cumbria and those borders near Scotland. So a large area of England expecting, and some areas already getting snow. You mentioned that 40 centimetres of snow. There is a concern that that will be in the Pennines area, which is high up, but we are already seeing 12 centimetres of snow in Bingley and 10 centimetres of snow in Shap in Cumbria. And you can just see, if I show you my boot here, that this is quite deep here. This has been settling overnight, and you know, I can get my hand clearly into there. So you can see the amount of snow that has fallen here, and it's been falling like this for a good 3 or 4 hours now. Now, the issues with the airports are beginning to ease, as you mentioned, in Manchester and Liverpool, but we are now looking at disruption on the trains because, of course, when snow and ice falls on those lines and the trains start operating, they find that they can't always get through. So Northern Rail have got cancellations and delays, so have ScotRail, and so down in the southwest of England have GWR. So what is the picture across here in West Yorkshire and North Yorkshire? Well, my colleague Eunice Muller is in Harrogate in North Yorkshire and has this update for us.
Well, as you can see, it is snowing here in Harrogate in North Yorkshire. I was just listening to that interview about snowplows, and we've seen plenty of those here. In fact, at one stage, there was one particular snowplow that got stuck. Its wheels were going round and round for a good minute or so. So that gives you an idea of what the conditions are like here. That snow is settling. The chances are perhaps there'll be some rain later on to clear it, but at the moment there's a lot of effort being made to clear some of the snow off close to buildings. There are people who are parked up who are trying to leave Harrogate. I was speaking to one woman earlier who has got a flight at Leeds Bradford Airport, and that was meant to be this morning. She's now been told that'll be later this afternoon. That's because of that runway closure. A number of runways have been closed at several airports, including Leeds Bradford, Liverpool, John Lennon and Manchester International Airport as well. That runway has reopened, the one in Manchester, so hopefully passengers who are trying to leave the country can do so later this afternoon, even though there'll be delays, and inevitably there are cancellations as well. Now, we were told that the north of England would get it particularly bad, would bear the brunt of the heavy snow, and you can see that is exactly what has happened here. That's had obviously ruined some people's plans who may want to travel. That is, if you want to still travel in these conditions, the advice of course is to take something with you, like a blanket or a shovel or some food, just in case you get stuck. Away from the north of England, if you look at the south of England, again, airports have been affected there. Rail, trains are affected. Homes, there have been many homes have been left without power. Earlier, there were around 2,000 homes in the northwest of England. A number of homes here in the Yorkshire side of the north of England as well. So clearly the snow is disrupting people's lives, and this cold start to the new year and 2025. Now, as the day develops, we had one amber warning until around midday. There's the other amber warning for severe weather, which goes on until midnight. So people are still being warned about the impact this snow, heavy snow, can have, and that freezing rain as well, which will make the conditions out there quite treacherous. Now, I can see a lot of people out and about, well wrapped up, keeping warm, and that of course is the advice. There'll be those people, families perhaps with children, who will want to go out there and use that that snow and try and have some fun with sledging and that kind of thing. But really, there are alerts around from the UK Health Security Agency. There'll be vulnerable people out there as well. So please keep warm is the advice.
Yeah, that is good advice, to try and keep warm. The advice from National Highways is if you don't have to go out on the roads today, then don't. But if you are going out on the roads, then make sure you are prepared. Have things like water, a blanket, also a fully charged mobile phone. As you can see here in Leeds, there have been cars going by and people are getting out and about. I think it's eased slightly by the fact that it is a Sunday today and people haven't had to go into work like they would have to on a work day. There's also some good news for football fans. Of course, there is a very big game at Anfield that is this afternoon between Liverpool and Manchester United. There was a meeting of the safety team this morning at Liverpool, and at the moment that game is going ahead. They will have another meeting at midday just to make sure that everything is all right, but they are also telling fans to be really careful about travelling to that game and don't take any unnecessary risks. So what can we expect for the rest of today? What is the situation at the moment in terms of the weather? Sarah Keith-Lucas is from the BBC Weather Centre and gave us this update a little earlier.
This has been forecast for several days now, hasn't it? And it is going to plan. We are seeing that heavy snow, and actually quite a large area has been hit through the course of the night and early on this morning. That snow swept right across much of England and Wales. Although it's turned back to rain in the south now, it is northern England that's going to be bearing the brunt of the worst of the snow. So not far from where you are, Nikki, West Yorkshire, this is Todmorden. And actually, if we take a look at snow depths across northern England, parts of Wales into Scotland as well, we're seeing between around about 3 to 10 centimetres for many areas. Bingley and West Yorkshire now is up to 16 centimetres of snow there. So these are the official weather observations, but some areas are seeing a lot more than this, particularly over the higher ground of the Northern Pennines, for instance. That's where we could see 40 centimetres. So far, this is where we've seen snow falling. This is the recent radar. It's now starting to clear from North Wales and the North Midlands, but still persisting for much of northern England into southern Scotland. Bit of winteriness into Northern Ireland as well. So icy conditions for many, even if you haven't got the heavy snow. Now, further south, you can see this large area of blue. The milder areas kicking in, and we've got really heavy rain around as well. So it's wet in the south, it's white in the north. Those amber warnings for snow and ice are continuing. The one towards the south, so this one here, North Wales into the North Midlands, that's going to expire fairly soon. So where we see the snow here turning back to rain, certainly a risk of some icy conditions, but it's across this warning area here across much of northern England that we're going to continue to see a lot more snow. So up to 40 centimetres. And of course, we've heard about the disruption that's been ongoing today with all of the snow, with the ice as well. But as well, it's going to be that heavy rain further south that's going to continue to cause, I think, disruption for the rest of the day.
That's Sarah Keith-Lucas, and of course you can get a weather forecast for where you are on the BBC Weather website and app. Northern Ireland seems to have escaped most of the weather. A different kettle of fish in the Republic of Ireland. There they have 28,000 people without power at the moment, trying to reconnect them. Now we have a live page up and running on the BBC News website and app with the very latest from our correspondents across the country. There's all that information about which rail services are running and indeed about the airports. A reminder that Leeds Bradford here still has its runway shut. Lucy, for the moment, from a rather snowy Leeds here in West Yorkshire, back to you in the rather nice warm studio in London.
Yeah, sorry about that, Nikki. We'll swap. Thanks very much to Nikki Schiller there for us in Leeds.